Okay, hello everyone. I hope that you are having a good time in your e-learning week, and welcome to my presentation on software and code. So, first of all, I'll give you a heads up about software art and computing art in general, along with a concise definition of software art to set us in the right direction. Then I will show you some really cool software projects that create art that are sometimes beautiful, sometimes bizarre, sometimes mind-blowing. And along the way, I'll also bring up some issues about software art which will be further discussed in the assignment shown later on. And before that, let's take a few seconds to look at this portrait of Che Guevara. This is called an ASCII art, where the images are made out of letters, numbers, and symbols. These are the kinds of artwork that are created due to the rise of the digital culture. And more of these interesting things will be shown later on, so please stay tuned. So when we hear words like software, coding, programming, we probably won't think of things related to the arts of the aesthetics. This is because most people see software as just a tool for them to finish their mundane tasks, such as managing their inventory, calculating mathematical problems, the means for communications, and so on. But it is, however, not so much as a medium for artistic expressions. And most people get turned off when they see codes and see programmers as a whole new race of people who works with stuff that doesn't seem to belong to this world. But that's actually quite true. I'm a programmer myself, and I sometimes find difficulties explaining the things I do to people. However, it's definitely not today. Because today I'm going to show you the arty-farty world of software and code. So please just stay tuned. So, first of all, have you ever wondered where the first instance of computer artwork occurred? It happened sometimes in the 1950s, shown in this image. It is supposed to be an image of a pinup girl holding up a Polaroid camera facing us. And she's found in this installation screen of a computer system used to detect incoming nuclear attacks in the military. It's like a military machine, right? And around that time, programs and computers were never designed for people to express their flair in aesthetics. But there will always be this one brave soul out of a million who may decide to make a difference, to make aesthetic, to create art out of something that is not aesthetic in this such kinds of computer programs. And since then, there have been a rise in attempts to create artworks out of computer software. Many forms of these computer artworks emerged along with the rise of the digital culture. So when we link software and arts, these two words together, two terms come to my mind: software art and the art of software. You might think that they are essentially the same thing, but they are actually quite different in nature. The art of software talks about the process of developing the software, so it's something known as software engineering. There used to be this ongoing debate about whether software engineers can be called an artist, because after all, they design and craft software through tedious hours of coding and hours of testing. But on the other hand, the opponents to this view feel that the product of the software is not an artwork because it cannot be appreciated aesthetically, which is true because most software were made to mainly provide solutions to people's problems. Then there came along this guy called Richard Stallman, a leading software freedom activist, who ended this debate by bringing up a very good point. He said that developing software is a craft, which is a form of applied arts. It is, however, not fine arts, which are based solely on visual aesthetics. Therefore, I believe software engineering isn't the kind of art that we are interested in this presentation. So, On the other hand, software that have aesthetic values do exist, and they are called software art. This is one such example. This software called Electric Sheep by Scott Jarvis is perhaps one of the most famous software art that has ever been made. It is essentially a screensaver, something that we are very familiar with. This beautiful image shown here is a screenshot of the screensaver. The waves and the dancing of lights are actually formed by the activities of background programs still running in a computer. So Scott Jarvis called these waves of lights the electric sheep. And the whole idea is that when the computer goes to sleep, it starts to dream and dreams about electric sheep. It's quite a cool artwork. So over here is this software called Alchemy by Carl, which requires the user's input to create pseudo-random shapes which we call arts. The input can be in the form of typing, clicking and dragging, and even using the user's voice. So this software aims to generate interesting shapes for digital artists who might be having their usual mental blocks of the day. Yep, so now allow me to show you a little video of how this thing works. Alright.
A lot of the work that I do revolves around the idea of chaos and finding order and finding shape and form out of chaos. So this program I'm about to use right now, it's called Alchemy. There's a couple different ways I can work with it. One is a real simple where I can use part of a whistle. But this is actually one of my new favorite ways of manipulating shape. Instead of whistling all day long, I've installed a small sound oscillator on my phone. This has one option called type shapes. Make shapes based on the combination of random fonts coming together. There's also a component within this program that once you make a shape, they're vector-based, and so you can distort any of the shapes with sound after the fact. One last feature of this program that I find also as a great springboard for creativity is the mirror feature. Another nice component about Alchemy, as you saw there, I went through all those different...
That's all we'll see here. So there's actually a difference between this software and the electric sheep shown previously. This one requires the user's input, as you have seen in the video, and it serves as a tool for artists to create their artwork. But on the other hand, the electric sheep is just a standalone program that does not require any form of user input. So yeah. And next, I'm going to show you this robot thingy that makes art. As you can see in this image, this is the first robot painter ever made, and it's called Aaron, and made by Harold Cohen. Aaron is an artificial intelligence which draws painting on its own, and no one will be able to tell Aaron what to draw except for itself. So it actually has a mind of its own. This robot used real-life paints pre-mixed by Harold to produce real canvas paintings. And this is one rare instance where traditional art is made by something so digital. The art is different from the usual software art in the sense that it is not represented digitally in pixels, but a real physical artwork. And then there's this area of realistic graphics, where objects in the scene are written in codes, which are modeled to look realistic. Of course, judging by the topic we are talking about now, you should know that this image is not actually a photograph, but it's made out of computer graphics. This image is a screenshot taken from this game called Project Cars, which will be released sometime this year. So take some time to marvel at how real it looks. One thing that makes these pictures so real is the accurate reflection of light off this car, and it does not happen by chance. Computer graphics of today use this method called ray tracing. So this ray tracing works like this. For every pixel in the image, a ray is cast out from our viewpoint, and computations are made to determine how this ray will bounce off the surfaces of objects in a scene. And this method ensures that all the reflections and shadows in the scenes are captured accurately in the image. And sometimes such realistic graphics, such image may look fake because the graphics are too clear and perfect to be true in real life. Yep. Okay, so the next issue that we are gonna talk about is digital art software art? Take a good look at this image here and think about it. This image is drawn with the help of software like Adobe Photoshop or Corel Painter. But will you call this software art? You might not be too quick to agree this time, because after all, drawing these requires a lot of input and work from the artists as compared to the software themselves. But how much involvement must the software have for the artwork to be considered software art? As of now, no one has set any standard to that, so it's actually kind of a grey area. For me, I personally believe that digital art is part of software art. This is because software provides this whole new dimension of effects that the artists themselves could not reproduce through traditional means. So the credits of all these magical effects still goes to the software itself. So in a sense, part of the work is still done by the software, and that contributes to this digital art that you see here. And this brings us to the point where we have this thing called the image filters, in particular artistic filters. I'm quite sure all of you have used the filters in Instagram to beautify your beloved selfies before, so you can understand how image filters works. Featured here is this software called Topaz Simplify, which use some sophisticated filters to transform any photographs to painted artwork, as you can see here. Yeah. And there's this short question to think about. Do you consider filtered photographs as software art? While they may be aesthetically appealing, they seem to lack that sense of individualism. Anyone who has access to these filters can actually make beautiful artworks like this, split second. So, do you still regard such artwork as an artwork if it loses that sense of individuality? Yep, that's something that is interesting to think about. So now, my presentation has come to an end, but before you go, here's this little assignment that I have prepared for all of you. It may look very wordy, but I assure you it's nothing daunting. You are required to do 2 tasks. So the first one gives you an opportunity to be an artist. You are supposed to choose a program that makes an artwork, but the requirement being that you're not supposed to use a program that is not intended as a tool to make visual artworks. I've listed some examples here to give you a sense of what you should use, what you cannot use. And so after you make the artwork, submit it through a screenshot and also let me know what you have drawn, and perhaps tell me the message that you want to put across. Then the second task is like an open-ended question. So I'm going to think about the criteria and aspects that are required in order to call something software art. It should be around 100 words in length, so it will be manageable. Yep. Alright, that's all for this presentation. Thank you and goodbye.